Hi! I just went to the art store, which was very nice, and I got myself some art supplies, and so I'm gonna just do a little unboxing for you, show you what I got, mix in some colors. Feel free to draw or paint along if you want to do that. And yeah, let's do this. First off, massive apologies for the mess on my desk. I've been drawing a lot, which is awesome, but that just means that things are a little bit chaotic. And as you can see, I've been playing around with a lot of different materials lately and just mixing and matching them. And that's one of the reasons that I went to the art store, is I wanted to resupply a few little Neocolors that I have, get a few that I didn't have, and get a few additional little fun things to play with. So I'm going to show you the oil pastels that I got, because oil pastels is a medium that I only discovered like maybe a year or two ago. I had never really played with them at all prior, and I have to say, when I tried these, the Sennelier was the first brand that I tried, and I was just blown away by how it felt, how creamy and lush it felt, and how it really was kind of this perfect mix between drawing and painting, which is just, how often do you get to do that? And I have a bunch of, my collection of little Sennelier oil pastels has gotten bigger since then. But today I went in and got a few more colors that I do not have. And by the way, if you don't have an art supply inventory, I really recommend doing that. That's so helpful when you go to the art store. I do mine in Notion, and I think I initially got it from Louisa Fernino on Instagram. So that's one thing to check out. Anyway, if you've never tried oil pastels, they're just the creamiest, most fun things. But they take a long time to dry. So that's definitely the con of oil pastels. But I just wanted to get a few more colors because I knew I had some pinks, and I'll show you some of the pinks I already have. This one is a dear favorite. Love that color. And I also have this one, which is more of a bright pink. But I didn't have one of these like pastel-y pinks. And so maybe I'll write down the number of them. Using like a neutral color would be good. Just in case you're curious. So this is 236. That other one is 240. And this other pink one is 77. And what I did with my oil pastels here is I really went for a color palette that I enjoyed. This is a kind of orangey red. Really nice. Kind of like almost... Yeah, it's a very orangey red. And it's a color that in the past I don't think I would have picked up, but it's really starting to grow on me. And so I just went ahead and picked these colors that I thought were really fun together. I've been playing around with landscapes and really enjoying all these greens, so I really wanted to test this out. That one is absolutely beautiful, and I'm very excited about this one. Like a dark forest green. And then my current obsession, which is kind of olive colors. Yup, totally in love with that. I actually have a Holbein gouache tube of a color similar to this, and I'm probably going to need to buy another one because I'm emptying it. That's how much I'm loving that color. This is another one of those colors that I used to really hate, but that has been really growing on me lately. It's, I don't know if it's like, I don't really know what the pigment is, but it reminds me a little bit of a chromium oxide green. Maybe I'll show you with my luminance. If I find it. It's such a mess on my desk, so. Now this is an olive brown. Okay, but, oh, here it is. This is moss green. Yeah, so see how similar that is? This is what it was making me think of. And I think the pigment of that is chromium oxide green, but I could be wrong. And then finally, I got this pale yellow color, cold yellow. A cold yellow is always an amazing color to have. You really can't recreate it. So having its own thing is really helpful. It's funny, they say it's Naples yellow, and I thought Naples yellow was warm, but honestly that looks pretty cold to me. Then again, I could be mistaken. Anyway, look at these lovely, fun, lush colors. And you can, of course, play around with mixing them. And that's why I love oil pastels. It really is this perfect medium ground between painting and drawing, which can lead to many, many hours of fun. And the textures are just so yummy, obviously. That pink and green make a lovely sort of muted gray when you mix them. Green gray. Yeah, wow, that's such a yummy color. And then if I try to do it pure, that's the thing, is I'm a bit of a messy artist, so I'm always mixing things, and then there's color where it shouldn't be, and then when I'm looking for a pure color, it's a little bit more difficult, but it's all worth it in my books. Beautiful color. And finally, this orangey red. So lush. I mean, look at how yummy that is. All right. Would you like me to show you the rest of what I got? I also got, and this is the first time that I get these. Oh no, wait, what am I doing? That's the same one. Sorry. This one. There we go. The first time that I get Sennelier soft pastels. This is obviously Sennelier, very well-known brand, but I've never tried their soft pastels, and this was not a planned purchase. It was one of those, you know, I'm at the art store and I'm like, oh, that looks so fun, and I maybe shouldn't have, but I'm really happy I did. So just gonna use this little piece that fell off. Obviously soft pastels are always very messy, and it's quite the opposite texture to my oil pastels. But I think that's why I'm having so much fun with all these different materials and mediums, is I'm really enjoying the difference in texture and the impact that that has on the mood of my artwork. And you can get a sense of that here in all these little like thumbnails that I've been working on lately. So yeah, it's just a very different feel. One thing that I do enjoy about these pastels is they have like a plastic thing that you can hold on to so your fingers don't get too dirty. And speaking of, I'm going to go wash my hands before I continue this so that I can be a little bit less messy than usual. All right, So why did I get this? Because they were on sale. The sale always gets me. I'm a sucker for it. So there you go. And I think you'll start noticing a pattern here in terms of the colors. Not sure how you. They're like a little. Oh, that's cool. That's nice. In terms of the colors, a lot of greens. Again, I've been working with landscapes, plants, so having a nice variety of greens can be really helpful because of course you can construct your own greens, but also if you have pure pigments that are greens, that's really amazing to add into your work because green is one of those colors that we recognize the best, as in we're able to see more greens than we are other colors, and I think that's just because we're animals and you know, you need to be able to distinguish patterns and colors and stuff when you're in nature. So having a nice variety of greens is good. And this one I thought looked really nice, kind of like a very spring bright green, which can be a nice contrast with something a little bit more muted and earthy. I'm really liking it, the feel of these pastels. I would say compared to my Unison, they're maybe not as soft. Ooh, this one is though. So of course it always depends also on the pigment. Certain pigments feel softer than others. But maybe I'll make a video where I really compare the different brands. If that's something that you'd be interested in seeing, let me know in the comments, and I can definitely do that. This color I thought was super beautiful. Look at that. And really nice next to this salmony coral pink. Really nice. Oh, I just realized I didn't write down the numbers of these in case you are... Obviously, none of this is sponsored. I'm just sharing with you what I'm excited about. 84. But I guess maybe I'll drop, though, some affiliate links in the description if you're not sure where to get them. Oh, that was this one. This one is number 237. I got 2 more greens. Wow, I didn't realize I went a little nuts here, didn't I? And this is, I'm a little unhappy with this one. It has like that poison warning label thing. If I had seen that, I probably wouldn't have gotten it. But, so I'll just have to be very careful with that one. But it does look like a beautiful color, so yeah, that is a very nice color. It's funny, you can hear the difference in like scratchiness, softness between these different pigments. And this one is number 182. And then this one, which is number 210. I'm really struggling. Okay, I'll just use the little bit that's sticking out. That's a really beautiful color. Love that one. very velvety. And finally, 2 more. Number 166. Oh wow, that one's very soft. That is so nice to use. Kind of like a buff titanium. It has a slightly pinkish undertone, I'd say. Trying to use some of my clean fingers here. And then finally, this color, which surprised me that I picked it up, because mustard is not a color that I usually... Oh, I don't need to take that off, because this is coming out. Is not a color I usually gravitate towards. But something about it really called to me. Yeah, really love that. Oh no, my fingers are dirty. All right, see, this is the risk. All right, so that one's a little bit mixed, but here's more of the pure color, so that you can see it. Really beautiful. So I'm very excited to try these on like maybe a bigger surface of paper as a background. We'll see how I play around with those. And yeah, let me just wash my hands again and I will be back. It's funny, when you look at this page, you can really tell that I had some sort of common color palette going on, both with the oil pastels and the soft pastels. And that's kind of fun. I'm going to now show you the Neocolors that I got. And in this case, I wasn't so much following a color palette, but it's more that I was getting Neocolors that I don't already own, as a way of also just kind of exploring new color palettes. And every once in a while I'm like reaching for a different version, like a colder or warmer color of the same hue, and I don't have it. So I thought it would be a good idea to get some that I don't already have. So in comparison, usually I buy stuff as color palettes just because I find that's really super fun to play with. When you come back home, you can just immediately start working on pieces and like enjoy the color palette that you're using. In this case, I'm not very psyched about the color palette, though who knows, maybe others will disagree and enjoy it, but this is not at all my kind of color palette. And that's totally fine. Again, it was just to kind of get some that I didn't own already. There is one that I wanted to restock because I use it a lot, and that is the sepia. Really enjoy that one. It's kind of like a warmer black. I like to use it instead of a black. So that's a really beautiful one. And then I decided also to get this charcoal gray, which is another version of a black that I actually don't own. And so it's slightly colder. Obviously next to my sepia, it almost looks perfectly black, but if you want, I can show you the difference with a pure black. This is black. No, that's not black. These are my little bits of Neocolor that I have left. Oh, there's my black. Here. So if you want to see the comparison with I don't know if you can actually see the differences between those colors very well, but I feel like maybe if I add some water, you'll be able to really tell. It's funny, it's almost like my charcoal gray does look more neutral, whereas my black looks more bluish, but I don't know if that's just me hallucinating a little bit. Let's see. So this is my sepia, and you can really get the sense of the warmth of that one. This is the charcoal. And then this is the pure black. And yeah, now more diluted. You can definitely see this one is warmer, this one's a little cooler, and this one is more neutral. So I was seeing things wrong. I think it's because of the light. The light is super bright and contrasted at the moment, so fun colors to play with. I really thought this blue could be a lot of fun. A very light blue. I could see myself using that a lot. And I restocked a few other blues. For skies, it can be nice to have a range of different blues, or, you know, for seascapes if you're doing that. That's dark ultramarine, and then this one, which is night blue, which I was pretty excited about. Night blue. Here is one that I decided to restock because I love this color, beige, and I've used it a lot. It has that really nice warm neutral tone to it. Really love it. And I realized I don't own a Payne's Gray, which I was very surprised by because Payne's Gray used to be my favorite color. It still is a dear favorite, but I've actually been, at least with my Luminance, been enjoying my indigo, dark indigo way more. But yeah, Payne's Gray, always beautiful. Such a fun color in between a blue and a gray. And then a bunch of these really bright colors that I usually would shy away from. But I realized the other day when I was working with my colors that there was a type of yellow that I didn't have that I wanted. And this is one of those yellows that I don't own. So even though yellow isn't like one of my favorite colors, I do use it a lot. And so it can be good to have a nice range of those. And then finally, these sort of red colors that I also mentioned in the oil pastel that I was like kind of shying away from in the past and that I have been growing on me. This one is vermilion, so quite orange, an orangey red. We've got a red cadmium, light cadmium red, and what they call a flame red, but looks more like an orange to me. So quite primary colors, good to have if you want to do mixes. And lilac. And finally, yellow green, which I thought could be fitting for any sort of springscapes. And why don't I kind of show you what they look like diluted? Obviously, that's what's fun with Neocolor, is that you can add water and have them become this sort of watercolory texture. And it's fun because you can also kind of see the scratchy texture underneath if you don't mix them too much. So it can give you a nice range of different textures. Oh no! it looks like this is a Neocolor 1 and not a Neocolor 2. Oh my god, I think... Oh wow. I think that I didn't realize that the Neocolor 1s were next to the Neocolor 2s. So it's possible that a bunch of these won't dilute with water. Oh no, the screen doesn't. Oh, I'm bummed about that. This makes more sense because I was confused. I was like, oh, I thought I had these colors. Nope, look at that. You can see the water repels them. Ah, the lilac is a nice Neocolor too, though. All right. Well, that's actually kind of interesting. Why not have a few colors that are just wax crayons that won't dilute when you add water? That could actually make some really fun mixes of textures. That's just how it goes, isn't it? Just gonna be experimenting a little bit. So like, let's say if I use this red and then I use a beige above it. How's that gonna react? Oops. I still had some yellow. I told you I'm a messy painter. But yeah, see, so that is interesting because you have that wax repellent effect. So you really can have these layer separations. It's maybe the difference between like gouache and acrylic gouache, and the Neocolor 1 is more like acrylic gouache. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that you drew along. I'm glad that this blue at least is water soluble. The Payne's Gray can actually be really fun if it doesn't move and then you put other lighter layers on the top of it, and so you just have that darker layer shining through. I think I could play with that a lot. Of course, I maybe should have protected this page so that there wasn't any transfer, but that's the way it goes. Messy sketchbooks are always the most fun, are they not? Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that, and yeah, let me know if you'd like me to do some sort of like reviews between different brands that I might have and that you're curious about. Just let me know in the comments, and I hope you have a lovely day.